Cincinnati Bengals definitely have some wounds to lick after that debacle down in Tennessee. It's not that they lost the football game, it's how they lost the football game. There are losses, and then there are losses. What happened down in Tennessee? Well, in just about every category you can think of, situational football, line of scrimmage, every category, they got handled. But bottom line is the second quarter happened. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. It unfolds so quickly. What everybody thought was going to be a low scoring defensive football game, it was tracking that way. 3-3. And then the second quarter happens. In the second quarter, the Tennessee Titans generate 233 yards offense on 19 plays. That's over 12 yards per play, 12.2, 12.3 yards per play. The other three quarters in the football game, 43 snaps, 167 yards, less than 4 yards of play. And it was really like half of the second quarter. We'll get to that in just a little bit. The Bengals in the second quarter, on 16 snaps, were able to generate 29 yards, less than 2 yards a snap. The other three quarters, they had 172 yards on 35 snaps. They had more yards than Tennessee on fewer plays. They had 5 more yards on 8 fewer plays. So, I mean, it was the second quarter, and it was half of the second quarter, to be more precise. Let's take a review of this thing, and it is UGLY. You ain't got no alibi. You're ugly. And at about halfway through the second quarter, it's a 3-3 football game. It's crazy. Then Tennessee, with 7 minutes and 56 seconds left in the second quarter, a little over half of the quarter to play, it's 3rd and 7 at their own 25-yard line. Bengals might get halfway decent field position. Tannehill goes deep to Hopkins for 38 yards. He runs a little stutter step. He gets Cam Taylor-Britt to bite, gets separation. 38 yards later, it's 1st and 10 at the Bengals' 37-yard line. Tannehill passes short middle to Wiley, run after catch, 24 yards. Then the very next snap, now it's 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line in the red zone because of those two prior plays. Tannehill passed short right to Westbrook Akine for a 13-yard touchdown. So in 3 snaps at the 7:56 mark, 3 consecutive snaps, they get 75 yards and a touchdown on those 3 snaps. The Cincinnati Bengals come out and go 1, 2, 3 and out. Joe Burrow passing completion. Joe Burrow passing completion. Completion short left to Drew Sample from -1 yard. On 3 snaps, they go -1 yards and they punt. So your defense is reeling. And what do you do offensively to support them? Complimentary football? Just the opposite. 3 and out, and lose a yard in so doing with 3 snaps. Tennessee gets the football again. Tannehill throws an incompletion. That is the only play in a 7-play sequence where they didn't gain huge yards. 2nd and 10 from the 27. Tannehill fumbles, trying to do the little pitch to Spears. He picks it up and reverses field for 26 yards. 1st and 10 at the Tennessee 49-yard line. He goes deep once again to Westbrook Akine, 22 yards. 1st and 10 now at the Bengals 29-yard line. Derrick Henry, King Henry, a 29-yard touchdown, 3 missed tackles on that touchdown run. He just bowled through people. 3 plays, 77 yards for a touchdown. So in a 7-play stretch, the Tennessee Titans had 1 incompletion, and they had 6 plays for 152 yards, 2 touchdowns. What? That's absolutely ridiculous. The Bengals get the football back, and they really can't do anything with it. They generate 1 first down, and then at the 2-minute warning, it's 2nd and 9 for them at their own 41-yard line. They punt the football away in 3 snaps. Tennessee gets the football with 1:20 to go. Derrick Henry hits it over right guard for 16 yards. Tannehill, deep right to Moore for 44 yards. Unbelievable. There's a penalty on Mike Hilton, defensive holding, but that penalty was declined. And that was an issue, obviously, in the football game that we'll talk about in a little bit as well. And then Tannehill passes the ball to Henry for 11 yards, shotgun. 3rd and 4. Tannehill is sacked by DJ Reader. Penalty on Pratt for defensive holding. Ends up being a 4-point penalty. They were going to line up and kick a field goal, no question about it. But now they get to extend the drive because of that penalty, negating the sack. And they ended up, this is the one where they go the direct snap to Henry in the Wildcat formation, and he does a little jump pass to Wiley for a 2-yard touchdown. Somebody's tried to do too much on that play defensively. Everybody just do what you're supposed to do. Don't panic. Don't try to harvest somebody else's crop. Make sure you harvest yours. That ended up being a 4-point play as well. So, man, in a half a quarter, the self-destruction that took place and the execution that took place, in fairness to the Tennessee Titans, and the lack of execution that took place for the Cincinnati Bengals, really reared its ugly head in a very short time frame. This football game was determined in about an 8-minute stretch of the second portion of the second quarter of this football game. No two ways about it. Tennessee comes up with a big victory. But look, the week before, Tennessee got handled in Cleveland by the exact same score they beat the Bengals by. Will the Bengals be able to rebound like the Tennessee Titans did? Tennessee obviously was at home. The Bengals have to travel to the West Coast, play Arizona. A little bit different dynamic. But the Bengals have to rebound. They have to get back in the victory column. Granted, it's an NFC team, and the second win would be against two NFC teams. There are 2 victories. Don't have a win yet against the AFC. Don't have a win yet against the AFC North. 0-2 and 0-3 in the conference, respectively. But you got to start getting wins. That's the key right now. You can't think about anything else about this particular week. The NFL is 17 one-game seasons. There are great examples of it. Tennessee Titans are a great example of it. They got thrashed by Cleveland. 92 yards offense. King Henry rushed for 20 yards on 11 carries. Cleveland throttled them. They come right back and they throttle the Bengals. Look at what took place. 70 points put on the board by the Miami Dolphins against the Denver Broncos. They win by 50. They win 70-20. What happens? They go to Buffalo and they get thrashed, 48-20. I mean, the table's totally reversed. Division rival on the road. You can't take one game to the next and think there's going to be a carryover. You can't say, oh, both this football team and the other have a common opponent, and this team lost to that team by 10, this team lost to that team by 13, so this one should be a 3-point favorite. Doesn't work like that. Been there. In the National Football League, there are different matchups every week. A matchup that was very, very favorable one week for a football team could be negated because you have a much better player going against that matchup that was so successful the week before. It's not going to be that dynamic the following week. I mean, everything changes on a week-to-week basis. That's the beauty of the National Football League. Can the Bengals rebound? We shall soon see. Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team. Opportunity knocking.